Well. All I can say is I hope that the neighbors in these hotel rooms right here, I hope they don't get too mad at us this morning because we're about to light it up here on hashtag Rise and Grind. My man Cory Mosley is in the house and we are about to light it up. So I hope you're ready. Get on in here, tag a friend, hit a share button, do all of the things that you got to do to kick things off today on hashtag Rise and Grind. Are you ready? Let's go.
Good morning. How are you, my friend? You see, there's no excuse for you not pushing yourself to the next level. In order for you to create a new you must have a new mindset. When teams come together, we can create things that are greater than the sum of all of their parts.
Good morning and welcome to hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to seven, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind.
Good morning. How are you, my friend? Oh my goodness, I'm excited for this one. Listen, today is Friday. That's right. Today is Friday, October 23rd, 2020. And what's crazy, and I mean absolutely crazy, is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Friday, October 23rd, 2020. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most, and I do mean the absolute most of this absolutely incredible day. Listen, I'm coming to you live from Tampa, Florida. That's right. This is my hotel suite. I'm all about the Holiday Inn Express. I'm just going to tell y'all right now. I mean, I can choose to stay in any hotel I want, 5-star, 10-star, 20-star, waterside, curbside, whatever the heck I want to do. And I always choose the Holiday Inn Express. I mean, look at this joint. Are you kidding me? I got a kitchen. I got a microwave. I got all that. You can't see my bed because it's in a whole other room. And I think it's like $100 a night or something like that. I don't even know. All I know is I love Holiday Inn Express. So I'm coming to you live from Holiday Inn Express here in Tampa, Florida. It's been a heck of a week. That's right. We've been doing an amazing series called Monsters. And in this series, we've been talking about sirens, and we've been talking about werewolves. We've been talking about vampires, and we've been talking about King Kong, right? We've been talking about demons, talking about these things all week and how we can learn from these stories of folklore. Pretty incredible stuff, right? Surprising, man. If you really start to look for it, if you're really intentional about being a student, we can really take and extract the knowledge and wisdom from just about anything. I think it's been an incredible series. We did have a bit of an issue on Wednesday, and we kind of had to go we had to ad-lib a little bit. It turned out to be an incredible day. If you didn't watch Wednesday's episode, I got thrown completely off course. None of my software would work. I went live from my cell phone, and you amazing humans started dropping stars like crazy, and you guys raised $2,400 in 20 minutes for an amazing organization called My Pink Navigator, ran by Bobby Nihas. He is a Rise and Grind member, and she created My Pink Navigator so that she could serve women that are battling breast cancer. She helps them feel comfortable. She helps pull them together in groups so they're not alone going through this process. It's truly amazing. That was all thanks to you guys. So I want to thank you for that. Do me a favor, make sure you check in. There's little emoticons down there on the bottom. There's a like button, there's a heart button, there's a smiley button, there's all that. Let me know how you're feeling this morning. When I see how you're feeling, maybe you feel like all lovey this morning. Maybe you're a little sad this morning. Maybe you're super happy and jacked up. Maybe you find some things hilarious this morning. Whatever it is, choose your emoticon, drop it in there so I can see it. It gives me energy. It'll give our guests some energy, and it just lets me know that you're waking up with me this amazing morning on hashtag Rise and Grind. Listen, many lessons learned this week from the series. It's been super, super, super fun. We're going to have more lessons for you today as I bring Cory Mosley in here. He's a heck of a guy, just an amazing car guy, right? He was a car guy. He's been a car guy since he was a teenager. He's no longer on the retail side, yet he's still making an impact in the car business. Just a great car guy, man. And I'm so blessed to be around some of these amazing car humans, superhumans, really. Like this guy, Brad Wise, for example. That's where I'm at right now. I am here in Tampa, where I'll be working with Furman Chevrolet and Mazda. I'll be with Brad Wise, and he's just an incredible, forward-thinking general manager. Super excited to spend time with him today. And then we'll follow that up by my man, Cory Mosley. Cory Mosley will be in here in just a second. He's patiently waiting in the green room there for me to bring him in. Before I do bring him in, though, the founder of the Fearless Entrepreneurship Society. What kind of name is that, dude? That's like, as soon as you just say it, like it's one of those things. Like, remember in Lion King where they were like, Mufasa, Mufasa, and the hyena's like, say it again, right? Like, that's how I feel about Cory's name right there, right? The Fearless Entrepreneurship Society. I'm like, that's powerful, resonates through my bones. But I'm going to bring him in here. Before we do, just a second, we can't really dance. This software doesn't allow me to play music and all that. So, I mean, I guess, I think Heather did it from her phone, or she did something like that. I'm just going to need you to play music in your head. Just pretend like it. Unless Cory, I could ask Cory, can you bebop or anything? Could you do it? No, you can't do none of that.
Go back to whatever you were doing.
Okay, all right. He says he can't do that. I was hoping maybe he could do that, but usually we dance and we sing, we do all those things. We can't do that right now. However, I do still want to take the time to say good morning to you and for you to say good morning to me. So if you haven't done so already, do me a huge favor, hit that share button, because I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact in their life. I truly believe that. And sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you to hit that share button. Also, drop me a good morning, whether you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching live at 5:30 a.m. Pacific time. If you are listening to the podcast, let me know that you're here so that I can connect, because it's all about relationships. Good morning, Emily Galler. How you doing? Ray Hatcher, Brad Smith, Jeff Baker, Tabby Negret. What's up, Mike Romano? John Gayheimer's up in here. Gail Beecraft, Janelle Griego, Mrs. Amanda Sander, Kim Fair, Kimberly Garner, Michael Guthrie, Don Sankey, Susan Rose, Marilyn Wilkin, Rick Tamburino, Eddie Brown, Tony Thorstad, Terry LaPierre. We got Terry Collins. We've got Robin Wilshins. Janet Dyer is in the house. Brad Smith, Ray Hatcher, Kevin Strohsnyder, Melvin Rodriguez, Sarah Ball. What's up, Kim Wilson? Linda Gayheimer. Everybody's up in here on hashtag Rise and Grind this morning. How you doing, Amy Bricker and Tina Bacon? I can already tell you, sometimes when you've done 729 episodes, you can see patterns, you can see trends, you can see things that are going on in the Facebook world. And I can tell you right now, there are people out there looking for the show. So if one of your show buddies isn't in here right now, thanks for the stars, Galler. I appreciate that. Hi, Susan Wall. What's up, James Gavin? If one of your buddies is not in the feed right now, it's because they're looking for it and they're having a hard time. So just tag them. Just tag them down in the thing. Help a brother or a sister out. Good morning to all of you, and good morning to my man, Cory Mosley. How are you, sir?
Good morning. Thank you for having me on. I was listening to some of those names. I recognize a few of them. some in my hometown, Kevin Strohschneider, I think Strohschneider Chevrolet.
Yes, sir.
Go Virginia. A couple of people out there. So thanks for having me on. It is still pitch black outside, and I would only do this for you. I mean, and Oprah or somebody like that. But right there.
Hey, I appreciate that. Thanks for dropping me on the same level as Oprah first thing this morning. It's a little bit of juice and fire that I needed, so I appreciate that.
Keep that algorithm going. Keep that algorithm going, right?
That's right. That's right, man.
Oprah, all of that, yeah.
And I love that. And you guys, Cory's not playing. That was the first thing he said to me this morning when he popped on the thing. He said, Glenn, you do realize it is still dark outside, right? I said, yeah, I guess it is here across America. However, there's other parts of the planet that are woke up. Cory Mosley, man, you've got a really storied career in the auto industry. You started at a very young age as a teenager. You've been in the game for a while. Now you are an entrepreneur, which, by the way, I watched one of your videos. And for those of you that are curious, the difference between an entrepreneur and a small business owners like the dude that buys a Subway, runs it for 20 years. An entrepreneur is a crazy maniac that buys the Subway, the pizza shop, and the ice cream store, right? So you've been an entrepreneur. You've created some amazing things here in the auto industry. So we're just so blessed and thankful that you are taking your time to spend time with me, man. I love your style. I love what you do.
Thank you. And right back at you.
Appreciate you. So, Cory, let's dive right in. How do you create? You have throughout all this time, you have these raving fans. So I was talking to Shaka Dyson. You know Shaka. So I'm talking to Shaka the other day, and Shaka's like, Cory Mosley. And I was like, dude, I asked you what 10 times 12 is. He was like, Cory Mosley. He said, Cory Mosley's the answer. Cory Mosley's everything. Cory Mosley's the man. Cory Mosley needs to go on your show. Cory Mosley. I mean, he is a raving fan. It didn't matter what I asked him. I was like, what color's my shirt? He's like, Cory Mosley. So my question to you is, how do you create these raving fans when you have raving fans? How have you been able to create that in your career?
Well, listen, first off, shout out to Shaka Dyson and for making sure that we got put together. And listen, that's a huge compliment because if you think about the energy spectrum, right, and you think about a guy who is out there motivating so many people and educating so many people himself, it's just, I mean, I get really excited by it being even kind of in that conversation where somebody like him who's helping so many people could be impacted by what I'm doing. But, I think the key, if you were to think about raving fans, and you're no stranger to that, right? How many people are getting up at 5:30 in the morning? All these people, all these names that come on every day and you put on the stream, right? That are getting up every day. It is about that, but that is all driven by one primary word, and that's authenticity, right? So, it's the people who just live in their own skin, are comfortable in their own skin, comfortable with who they are, and they're simply putting that information, they're putting their personality out there, and then you're going to find a subset of group to respond. It'd be great to be beloved by all, but none of us are, right? So what you're trying to do is you're trying to communicate with the people who can catch that wavelength or catch that vibe or whatever vibration or whatever term, whatever term you're into or believe in, but you're just really connecting with those people. And, I was raised in a family of givers. My grandmother, who's still with me at going on almost 90 years old, was a giver. She gave of her time. She gave of everything ultimately, and instilled in us that kind of attitude about helping, giving, a 30-minute call that turns into a 2-hour call because you're just trying to give. And I think when you do that, and you do it particularly for a long period of time, 722 shows, I think you said, you continue to do that, people respond to it. And you have fans, or you have people who believe in what you're doing, who are inspired by you. Also, there's responsibility there because now you have people who count on you, right? Nobody wanted to see Glenn Lundy be down and out through COVID, right? The people, your 800% club people, your dealers, the people they were counting on you to bring that energy. So when you do have that opportunity where you are able to guide and have some influence in someone's life like that, now you got a little responsibility, because
Mm.
nobody wants to see Cory Mosley, dragging or crying about things that are going on when some of them are looking to have that inspiration and looking to be motivated and looking for information to get through.
Amen to that, man. I love that. Being courageously authentic and serving over the top as much as humanly possible. I think that's a great combination to creating raving fans. I want to give a little shout out real quick. I just saw Brian Benstocks in here with us this morning. I'm a raving fan of his. That guy's got it going on out there at Paragon. So good morning, Brian. Glad that you joined us. So Cory, I'm going to dive into this word courageous a little bit more, because to be authentic, right? To be authentic and to carry that weight and that responsibility takes a lot of courage. Now, you built your career up in the car business, started as a teenager, worked your way up into higher positions, and ultimately left. Like, you didn't have to do that, right? You were on one path, and now you've left to go on your own, which is a very courageous and bold move that a lot of people are afraid to do. So tell us a little bit about that story, that transition from retail to what you're doing now, and where did you pull that courage to be able to make that leap?
Well, I am probably one of the only people that you will meet who's non-familiar familial to a dealership who drove a demo to the high school graduation. So I literally was still in high school, transitioning into the car business, and really
Amazing.
caught a unique opportunity, right? In that late 90s period, you had this thing called the internet that was going on. And when you're 18 years old and you're working in a car dealership, and you by default know how to turn the computer on, you become the internet manager, right? So that became the character.
True that.
What are we gonna do with this leads thing? Oh, give it to the kid. He can probably work the computer, right? And that became the so it was really an interesting opportunity. And at some point, after a few years of doing that, I say I was able to spend some dealers' money to find out some things that worked, some things that didn't, right? So after a few years of doing that, you come to a crossroads to make a decision. Do I want to pursue a track of, general management, ownership? Do I want to start to think about those types of things? Now, the challenge I had, unfortunately, at that particular time was when I looked to my left and I looked to my right, I didn't see a lot of people who looked like me in those positions. So Les Brown has a saying: some people aren't mentally fit to work for somebody else. So I started to fall in that category. I started to ultimately always have this entrepreneurship drive. As a kid, I wanted to be an attorney. I thought that's what I was going to do. I was in, law programs at 14 years old. I thought I was going to be, I wanted to be Arnie Becker on LA Law. I'm probably
Right.
the only 13-year-old whose favorite show is LA Law also. I wanted to be Arnie Becker. I wanted, he had the Bentley and he's driving around. So I thought that that's what I was going to do at 14, 15 years old. I met my mentor in the law program, looked burnt out. He was working 100 hours a week. He was driving a pickup Mazda. He was $200,000 in student loan debt, and thought that the great idea was to work for 10, 12 years so that he can hope one day to be a partner in the firm. So as a teenager, I was able to recognize maybe that's not quite what I wanted to do. And
Sure.
that's really where the car business came in. So fast forward, I made the decision, okay, great. I had gotten good at a couple things, conversion, talking to customers, starting to understand internet leads, processes, working with some smart people, working for some big organizations, again, who I was exposed to different trainings, and it really made a decision. You talk about kind of being an entrepreneur. Well, in 2004 is when I actually started the automotive consultancy. So I've been on my own, as you say. I've worked with some great people and have some great people in my organization through that time, but I've been on my own carrying the weight of the day, so to speak, since 2004 as far as automotives related. And ultimately,
Amazing.
I looked at everything that I was doing. There were great new people coming into the market, that were coming on the scene, which was great. And as I started to look at things, something started to communicate to me that, hey, Cory, this is great what you're doing, helping car dealers. We've had great manufacturer clients, Volkswagen, Audi, Mercedes-Benz. We've worked with all of them at the OEM level. All that was great. But what was kind of missing from my perspective was, all right, how can you use everything that you learned? Because we made a lot of mistakes in 10 years. Also, how can I use everything I learned to ultimately build that business and those mistakes? how can I really start to benefit, quote unquote, the rest of the world, right? So Glenn, as you know, there's the car business and then there's everything else, right? So how did I start to benefit that? And that's really where Fearless
Right.
came from. And fundamentally, everything I've been doing for the last 15 years, almost 20 years, has been about improving profitability, improving sales, improving marketing, improving conversions, and building businesses. Just happens to be car dealers were the beneficiary of the
Sure.
first 15 years of that. So now
Yep.
my commitment has shifted, still in the industry and still doing different things to educate, like my work on CBT. We just finished a great series, Diversity in Automotive. So some of
Mm.
those things, but really taking a different viewpoint than the retail aspects of it, while I continue building this business for other entrepreneurs and small business owners, and really helping them try to grow and navigate the marketplace.
Man, I love multiple components of that. The biggest component of that, I want to make sure that nobody misses. Don't miss this, okay? So Cory took a look at people who had been in the industry he was in, or that he was thinking about being in when he was going to be a lawyer, right? And he looked at where they were at and was like, is that where I want to go? Right? And I think a lot of us need to ask that question. When you look at the people that are ahead of you, that are advanced, that are further along in their careers, that on the career path that you are they living the life that you want to live? Because if they're not, maybe you're in the wrong vehicle. Maybe this is the wrong avenue. Maybe. I'm not saying go run out and quit your jobs, as soon as you walk out of here tomorrow or, today. I'm not saying that. But just take a look, because I especially see this in the auto industry a lot, man. I see people with no exit strategy, no end game, and they're old and they're burnt and they're 3 times divorced and their kids barely know them, and they don't want to go home. They have all the money in the world. They don't have a financial worry, but they don't have a life outside of the dealership. And I saw that, not in my particular dealership because I was with some great people, but I just saw it in the industry. I knew that wasn't a path that I wanted to go on. Cory, I'm going to take us on another path real quick, a little bit different direction. We have been talking about monsters this week, man. We've been diving deep in this area of monsters. Crazy, right? I come up with some crazy themes,
I'm
bro.
waiting to see where this is going. I'm waiting. Go ahead.
I just want to know, what monster is the most memorable to you, and what can we learn from that particular monster?
A
Oh yeah,
monster.
a monster. I can give you some examples if you'd like.
Yeah, please.
Okay,
Use it in the
so
sense. Yeah, go
we
ahead.
learned the history of Dracula. Okay,
Okay.
so Dracula was actually he was a guy named Drac, D-R-A-C, King Drac, and he got imprisoned in Turkey and Hungary during some wars and some battles. That imprisonment caused him to basically go crazy. He had this rage in his heart. So when he came back and he was the king, he had his castle set up, and anybody that would try to come to the castle, he had them impaled, and he hung them in front in the driveway alive for days by sticks to ward off other people, right? The dude like went nuts. In seclusion, he went nuts. The anger in his heart kept him reclusive. The reason that vampires, they say, only come out at night and whatnot is because he didn't want to be around during the day. So he would sleep during the day. He'd be up at night when nobody else was up. It was all about being a recluse, right? And ultimately, because of that, he wasn't able to look himself in the mirror, because he knew the person that he saw was not living out the life that he should live. So those stories of folklore have become the vampires that we see today, so on and so forth. But actually, there's a lot we can learn about that, right? We can't hold hate in our heart. We can't continue to do evil things. We won't be able to even look at ourselves. So Frankenstein we learned from, werewolves we learned from, all of that all week. So now I'm putting you on the spot. Most memorable monster. We even learned from King Kong, bro. Most memorable monster, and what can we learn from?
Look, do you see all this stuff behind me? This is nonfiction. This fantasy land that you're talking about. I don't. These are nonfiction books behind me, dude. I don't even think about monsters. Man, what a question that is, boy. Monsters. I You
What monster pops into your head?
and I do media all the time. I'm on CBS every month in my local town. Nobody, I mean, you really got me today because I don't know that I even think about monsters in the sense I think that ooh,
Okay.
well, so here, what I think is interesting about monsters is I'll say this at least because I don't know I can pinpoint one, but there a lot of them are misunderstood, right? So there is this misunderstood thing where the perception of a monster, whether that be the first thing that comes to my head is like Batman and thinking about like early Batman, like Dane DeVito as the Penguin, and
Okay. All right. Here we go. Here we
shunned by,
go.
shunned by his family, having to live
Mm,
underground, really just wanted to be accepted. So he
mm.
became a monster for attention in the way that he could get it because he wasn't accepted in a traditional sense. So I I'm liking that. That's for
I
some reason
like that.
Cobblepot was the first thing that came to my head when you said that. So I think and I think people turn into him. The other one that pops in my head is I think about I'm a Star Trek guy versus Star Wars. So
Okay.
everybody save their hate emails. But I thought about Khan, right? Khan was a monster or a villain, right?
Mm,
Because we
mm.
think monsters are all like ugly and gorish, but Khan was a villain, but he was a villain because of what he perceived or what had been done to his people uh, by groups or the Federation that he was holding responsible that he felt betrayed by them. So he became he was created. That wasn't where his heart was in the beginning. So I'm going to go with those two. I don't know what I win for that, but I'm liking those two examples right now.
You win the 5:30 a.m. on the spot challenge. Completely threw you off, and you regrouped. You
Yeah,
pulled it back together, and you taught us a valuable lesson, man. Especially if any of you guys have you have kids, man. You got kids that are acting like monsters. Maybe in reality, they're just not getting the attention that they need in the way that they need it. And
right.
maybe you need to take a little self analyzation and go, am I spending more time with my child or handing my child a device or a phone or an iPad or all these other things? Maybe you need to have that conversation. I don't know. Somebody might need to hear that this morning. Somebody might not want to hear that. They probably just jumped out right now. They're like, all right, cool. I'm done with this, right? I don't know. All right, now this one I know. This one's more up your alley right here.
I love this
All right.
trivia format here.
Yeah, this
I'm
I
waiting.
love.
I'm like, what's coming next?
So this one's more up your alley. So real
Okay.
quick, there's a lady named Debbie.
Okay.
Debbie Stagmeyer. She's one of our rising grinders,
Yep.
and we have a planner. I don't know if you have one of our planners or seen our planners, but we have the Rising Grind planner, and in our planners, all of our group members they submit their favorite quote or Bible verse, and that goes on top of every day in the planner every day. It's always submitted by somebody that's in the group. Speaking of that, if you haven't submitted your quote for the 2021 planners, I need you to do that. My wife is building that planner out now. So you can email it to me, you can text it to me, you can message it to me, but my wife needs those quotes. So Debbie put a quote in the planner yesterday, and I thought I wanted to hold on to it because I thought it would be a good one for you. So I want you to expand on this.
Okay.
Here's the quote that she put in there. Be a game changer. The world is already full of players.
Mm.
When you hear that quote, what does it make you think?
Well, listen, I think it really speaks to blazing your own path, being a player versus, of course, a spectator, and really it's the same analogy to the road less traveled is always available, or that extra mile is always lonely because nobody's on it, right? So I think the idea of game changing, when you say it, people, it's almost like next level. It's one of those words that rolls off easy that you immediately get when you say it. But I think people should be making decisions to kind of blaze their own trail. It's almost like from a business end, right? We talk about USP, right? The unique selling proposition, or your value proposition, or your why buy, terms that we've heard, particularly in our industry. It's the same thing. what is that ultimate value that someone can bring to the market? What can you bring to the market as a person? What can you bring to the market in your business? What can you bring to the market, as a volunteer? Where can you add value, and how can you really start down the process of uniquely trying to be a category of one, right? So
I
I
love
think
that.
those are the types of things that there was an interesting a buddy of mine, a guy named Delatoro McNeil, somebody I definitely need to put you with because I call him the Black Tony Robbins, but
Hey.
he's that guy. But he was talking recently. He did something for us for our Speakers Association chapter, and he was making the point that he went into audition for this big event that they do in China that he ultimately got. But he said the piece of feedback that the committee gave him was, he said, hey, we noticed in your presentation that you quoted a couple different people, and these 3 people are still alive. And he said, man, what they said to me next blew my mind. He said, they said, if we wanted to hear what those people thought, we would have called them. We want to hear from you. And the lesson they told him was, if you're going to quote people, quote dead people. Because we can hear from the people who are alive now, right? So in this marketplace where a lot of people will absorb information and regurgitate it, the question you have to ask yourself is, are you trying to position yourself to be a thought leader or a thought repeater?
That's strong, bro.
I let that, I drop one on you, right there.
Little mic drop right there. For real, for real. I'm gonna hang on to that for just a second. Cory, you hang on just a second too, if you don't mind. Hey guys, these things go fast. The show goes fast. It's already 6 o'clock. I understand that your morning routine is special to you. It's important. I think it's the most important part of everyone's day is the morning routine. So I want to respect that. So if you need to get out of here, I get it. Hop on out of here, hit the share button on your way out, and then I need you to blow Cory Mosley up today. I want you to show him what being on Rise and Grind is all about. I want notifications going off. I want him to call me later and be like, back them off, Glenn. They are driving me nuts. I can't get nothing done. I can't be productive. That's the type of blowing up I'm talking about. So blow up Cory Mosley today. Follow him. He's an amazing dude. His channel is awesome. All of his content is incredible. So make sure you follow him. Get out of here. For those of you that have a few extra minutes, I'm going to hit Cory with 2 more questions, and I'm going to let him go too. But I'm going to hit him with 2 more questions while we stay here. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, cool. Cory, welcome back.
Awesome.
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. I'm gonna get a couple extra hours in. I'm
all right.
As soon as we say goodbye, I'm gonna see if I can catch a few more. Now you start all these people threatening to start blowing me up. I mean, I love it. I welcome it, but I'm gonna put that silent on.
Oh, you're gonna silence him for a couple hours this morning. I feel that. All right, I'm gonna hit you 2 questions. Earlier we talked a little bit about monsters. Mm-hmm. The big monster in the room has been COVID-19. That's been the big monster for the last 6 months. What can we learn from COVID-19 the last 6 months first? Yep. And then how do we beat it going forward? I don't mean the virus itself, but you know what I mean. Yep. The monster in the room. What can we learn from it, and how do we beat it going forward?
Well, here, I think one of the main things it's taught us is that people who are unprepared for things get punished, right? So restaurants got punished who didn't believe in online ordering. And I actually remember sending a polite email to a local business that we like to go to, but we don't go to as much because they didn't have online ordering. And I don't want to sit on the phone. I'm a DI if you're in the disc and all these assessments, right? So I'm not sitting on the phone, on hold, waiting for somebody to put me on hold while they're ringing the register. So I sent a nice email. I mean, it's just my nature. I sent a nice email and said, hey, just so you know, we would eat at your place more if you had online ordering. And, he sent me a nice email back. Oh, we're working on it. We're this, we're that. Dude, it's not that complicated to get online ordering going. But so all those restaurants who didn't believe in online ordering, didn't make the investment, they got punished when we went to this takeout world, right? Where people were able to go on and use it. Same thing in the car business. There was the big rally around digital retail, and you talk about Brian Benstock, a guy that's been at the forefront of that for a decade,
Right.
There were people who now, as we sit in, April 15th or June 1st, are like, I got to get me some of this digital retail stuff. Call somebody up, get one of these widgets on the website ASAP, right?
Uh-huh.
Not understanding the culture shift that's involved or really how to execute. So they got punished. Oh man, sales are off. Why are our competitors up over here? We got to get involved in this. So that's the first thing they just taught us, that lack of preparation or ignoring things that you should be doing, kicking the can down the road, the procrastination effect, do we really need to do that? I don't want to spend any money on that. Who else is doing it? I call it who else-itis. And this delay in decision making, this indecisive nature leads to punishment. And that's what a lot of people learned as they were kind of scrambling to put their deals back together across all businesses. Now, how do we beat it, or how we come out of it? Well, first off, I think there's a lot of particularly car dealers who, and a lot of business owners who are beating it. Our clients I work with in FES, I work with businesses of all kinds across the country, restaurants, video production studios, coaches, consultants. I consult and coach for several guys in the car business who are running training and coaching businesses for their clients, right? So people that want the blueprint of some of the things that we did in particular early on. And some of those people are having record years, wrecking months. I think Penske just came out, or one of the public groups said Q3 was their most profitable quarter in the history of the company.
Right.
So it's this idea of when things get tough, right? The tough get going, as they say. So I think the way to win is to start to pay attention and not be plagued. I call it who else-itis, right? So everything that ends in itis, Glenn, is bad, right? Bursitis, bronchitis, hepatitis, right? These are all bad things. So particularly in the auto industry, we suffer from who else-itis. We go, okay, you know what? This is a great idea. Oh, this technology sounds great. Or I think this can help me sell cars. Wait a minute, Cory. Who else is doing it? And if they don't hear Brian Benstock's name, or they don't hear the names that they want to hear as validation, then they'll say, oh, well, come back to me when you have more dealers. Oh, you mean like all 14,000? Then you'll be ready to invest in service. So this fear of going first, this fear of going into unknown territory strangleholds businesses. It keeps people from advancing. And really that open mind attitude, which is why I love what you're doing. I love these GMs and dealer principals taking ego and putting it off to the side and going, maybe I should have somebody come in and help us with our business, someone who's proven to do it or has some great ideas that I haven't heard before and being willing to do that. So it's that piece. That's how you win, right?
Yeah.
Looking forward, staying forward, having this visibility of what can I be doing and being open to things that you are unfamiliar with, things that are scary to you, or things that, you have not done before that doesn't fall into the category of historical, tried and true stuff. So the people who are winning are the people who aren't afraid to go first. They aren't afraid to go into some uncharted territory to make things happen.
I love that, and I think it goes back to the quote, right? Be a game changer. The world's already full of players. We gotta create your own path, man. Quit waiting on everybody else. When you wait on everybody else, you end up in the same place everybody else ends up, which is not where you want to go. I love it, man. I think that's super, super strong. And you're right. A lot of people have evolved, they have moved, but I am going to take this quote. I am going to have my team put it into something fancy and nice, and we're gonna tag you on it right there. The unprepared get punished. Fact. Take that this morning at 6:00 a.m. Put it in your cup of coffee and drink it. All right, last question right here. All right, I'm gonna put you up on top of a mountaintop real quick. All right. So you are on top of a mountain, and literally all of civilization is at the base of this mountain, and they're cheering your name. Cory, 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 right? They're all hyped up, and this guy walks over and he hands you a microphone, and you have 2 minutes, 120 seconds to drop something on them, something practical application wisdom that they can apply in their life today, this week, this month, this year. What are you going to tell them?
So I want to tell you, I was prepared for this. I was talking to a client, a former client of mine, car dealer client of mine, who's become a friend of mine, and I said, "Oh, I'm doing the show." He watches your show, and I said, "I'm doing the show." He said, "What are you going to say about the mountaintop question?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" I thought he was kidding. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He says, "Oh no." He said, I don't catch the show all the time, but I'm assuming he's still doing it. But he's gonna ask you this question about the mountaintop. And I said, "Oh, I'll be ready when he says it." So shout out to Keith Hightower. I'm shouting him out.
Okay, yeah.
For prepping me for this. But it's simple. It's actually right behind me, somewhere over there. It's cropped out, but it's my mantra, and I think everybody should have a personal mantra, and I'm sure you've talked about this in other shows. But keep the mind sharp, the vision clear, the resolve strong, and you will make it. That is the mantra I give to my entrepreneurs. I give to my business owners. I give to people who can't see the end of the race yet. They're living in the fog. They're trying to see the finish line. They're trying to put their grand vision into play, but it doesn't look like it's coming into focus exactly how they want. Keep the mind sharp, the vision clear, the resolve strong, and you will make it. And I think if you stay true to that, we will all have an opportunity to succeed and go further than we thought. And I think that's what I would say. If I had a few minutes left, I'd go with my other quote behind me over here. It says, do not be afraid, and you'll appreciate this. It says, "Do not be afraid" is written in the Bible 365 times, which is a daily reminder to live every day fearless.
Man, I love it. Mind sharp, vision clear, resolve strong. You will make it. Fearless living 365 days a year, and the unprepared get punished. That's the last 10 minutes of the show. That's fire. My man, Cory Mosley. Cory, you, my friend, are an amazing superhuman. Absolutely. I love you, man. I think you're absolutely incredible. Clearly a child of God, uniquely made. The God of the universe made you to be the best version of yourself you can be, and you're out there living it. You're doing it. You're making good decisions, man, and it's making an impact on your friends, on your family members, on tons of people and businesses all across the United States and beyond, I'm assuming. And then this morning, you've made an impact on my incredible audience as well as me personally, and I absolutely stinking love you for it, man. Thank you so much for being on Rising Ground with us.
Hey, thank you for having. Love what you're doing. Keep doing it, and I can't wait to be back on with you soon.
Thanks, brother. Thank you. Hey, you guys go blow Cory up. Cory, you, sir, are the man. Blow him up, blow him up, blow him up. Let him know that you love him. If you took anything valuable away from this right here, the best way we can honor our guests, it is not easy to get up at 5:30 a.m. and put a camera in your face and go live on Facebook. Just so you know, the best way we can honor our guest is by hitting that share button, tagging a friend, and blowing them up all day long. So make sure you do that. Then on top of that, I want you to go out and have an amazing weekend, an over-the-top weekend, an absolutely phenomenal weekend, and then come back here on Monday. Actually, let me back up. I'm going to do a special episode on Sunday morning. Keep your eyes and ears out. I'm going to do a special episode Sunday morning because that episode I wanted to deliver Wednesday, I still got that one. It's still loaded up in the chamber and it needs to get out. So I'm going to do that on Sunday. So join me Sunday morning at 5:30 a.m. We'll do this all over again on #Rise and Grind. Have an amazing day.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? See, there's no excuse for you not pushing yourself to the next level. In order for you to create a new you must have a new mindset. When teams come together, we can create things that are greater than the sum of all of their parts.